Welcome back to Mindful Escape, the podcast that inspires you to live your best life. My name's Leighton Dewitt and I'm your host, and today we have Lulu Godfrey on the show. Lulu is a ghostwriter. She helps coaches and founders build their LinkedIn and their business, and she mainly works with introverted coaches and founders. Being an introvert herself, she knows the struggles that we go through and people go through when building their business, stepping outside their comfort zone and doing things that don't feel that comfortable. This is a really exciting episode, so listen closely and we'll jump straight in. Lulu, thanks for coming on to Mindful Escape. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Leighton. So I'm Lulu and I'm a LinkedIn ghostwriter turned LinkedIn coach. I've only been doing it for just over 6 months now, but it's been so fun and I'm so excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, amazing. So you started about 6 months ago. What were you doing before you went into the freelance, self-employed world?
So before I started my own business, I originally was working in pizza, just different types of pizza kitchens, started in Domino's, went to 2 other places. One was like a local just kitchen that I ran myself, but I always knew that there was more to life than pizza. Hard to believe. But I was doing that for a while. Well, on the side, I had my own blog, which was a gardening blog. It's taken down now because I don't want to repay for the domain. But I was doing that for a while, like building up the skill. I knew that like it wasn't something I wanted to do forever. And then I went down to part-time work, and eventually I was like running out of money, spending a little bit more than I had. So I went to like a 9 to 5 doing in like a shop. So I had to do loads of emailing, sorting out the orders for these companies. And I realized that if I was doing admin work for these like big corporations, why was I not doing it as my own business and like helping other people with their emails, because who wants to do emails? So that's how I stumbled across LinkedIn, because I was thinking like, I was looking online on like those like how to be a successful VA videos on YouTube, like following all these people. So I started posting about like, oh, I'm a VA, like I can help you with this, help you with that. I did that for a couple of weeks and then I was like, no, this is not something that I want to do. I'm just doing it to try and escape. And then I saw that people were doing ghostwriting for other people on LinkedIn, and I was like, that sounds like something that I really want to do. I'm just going to try and do it and see what happens, because at this point I would rather do anything than be starting work at 7 a.m.
Yeah. So were you doing that while you were still working, or what was the
Yeah.
transition like?
So I started posting in January. Just out of the blue, I made a post that was like, hi, I'm Lulu, I'm a VA. I was quite lucky because the shop didn't actually open till like 10 a.m. So in the morning, it was just kind of prep for the work, like prep for the day, answering a few emails. So I used to hide in a cupboard, and like I would post at 7:30. So I'd get into work at 7, get like the first few jobs done, and then go hide in a cupboard from like 7:30 till 8:30 and just like be on LinkedIn. Like I was trying to make new friends, trying to work out like what was what, like how people were posting, how I was trying to figure everything out in those like little 1 hour blocks. And then throughout the day I would just be like, I'm going to the bathroom, and just take quite a while and just sit on LinkedIn on my phone, and I'd be DMing people, because it was mainly VAs at this point, because I still thought that I wanted to be a VA. So I was making all these VA friends, like asking about how long they'd been doing it for, like learning everything about them and their lives and their businesses and how LinkedIn was helping them. And I was like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah. So one of the really interesting things I've found with your business and your journey is that your business is targeted towards introverts. And I'm assuming that's because you're an introvert.
Yeah.
And the people that I've worked with or come across on my path who are introverted, and we talk about building personal brands or putting themselves out there, that's a huge step for a lot of people. And it takes a lot of confidence and stepping outside their comfort zone to do that type of thing. What was going through your mind at the time, going from doing emails and working for another or big corporate companies and then putting yourself out there in front of the World Wide Web to see what people had to say?
It was scary, but also super exciting because I knew that I had to get over this fear of putting myself out there to get to where I wanted to be. Like, even thinking about it now, it kind of freaks me out. Like, if I think about how many impressions my posts have got and the fact that so many people have seen my face.
So you've come up with this concept that you need to put yourself out there, you need to have the confidence to post on LinkedIn. What would you say to anyone who's thinking that they want to do something like being a virtual assistant or being a ghostwriter, but they don't have that confidence? They're scared that their post isn't going to be good enough or that people are going to judge their content. What kind of advice would you give that person?
Like, it's okay. Especially on a platform like LinkedIn, you don't have anything to worry about. The people on LinkedIn are like the nicest people to ever exist. Like, just make a few friends. Like, it's so weird, the thought of reaching out to people, making the first move to be like friends with someone. Like, in real life, like, I find it really hard to make friends because I hate being the first person to be vulnerable and put myself out there. But on LinkedIn, you've always got an opportunity to just be like my first few weeks, my message to everyone was just like, hi, I'm new here. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I just want to say hi and make some friends and network with people. And people are so nice. They're like, oh, wow, like, I've been here for like a few months. I've been here for a few years. And I think having that support network from the beginning is really important because those people that you make friends with are going to show up on your posts. They're going to take away the fear and like the feeling that you get when you post and there's no one there. They'll take away from that because even if your posts are bad, which they're probably going to be, like, you're not going to start off being the best. But to have those couple of people to show up and be like cheering you on, it's really nice and it keeps you going. Like, it's not worth doing it on your own. You need the people around you to support you.
Yeah, that's really nice advice. I found that LinkedIn is so supportive and you can literally speak to anyone who's on there and they'll help you out. And it's amazing. Very different from, I was originally on Instagram and I just found that it's more of a competitive environment there, whereas on LinkedIn, it's so supportive. So it's really nice, a nice place to start off. And one of the things I think back to is that my first few posts, hardly anyone was looking at them anyway. So it didn't matter that they were rubbish.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
But you get better with practice. What was the biggest challenge for you? So going from your job into starting your business, what was the biggest challenge through that transition?
Everything. Like, just in terms of the skills, I mean, the skills that I had were somewhat transferable, but going from like kind of like more physical jobs and then like from then to the admin work, which is just like answering people's questions, like to then have to think about everything. Like, I didn't know how to write a contract. I didn't even know how Zoom worked really because I'd just been at college doing like COVID Zooms, and not engaging with them at all. So I didn't even know like how to record a Zoom or like share my own screen. And then I needed to get insurance and all of this stuff. Like, how I don't know how you do a sales call. I still don't know how you do a sales call, but like there's so many things that don't then like no one's gonna teach you. It's sort of things you have to learn yourself. Even if I think even if you were doing like a business degree, I mean I don't know because I've not gone to uni, but any I don't think any education from someone else could give you the experience that you needed to start a business, which is a good thing and a bad thing because like bad because it's scary, but then everything good is kind of scary. Um and like it's a good thing because it means that everyone starting is kind of in the same boat. And if you really want it, you're gonna learn those things and you're gonna put in the time and effort and push through the really scary bits. Like for months, I was so scared of Zoom calls. Like every Zoom call I would get on, I would have to like do like deep breathing. I resorted to like CBD oil. Like I would be there before my Zoom calls, like having like CBD drinks and everything just to like try and chill myself out and like just get through it. But then now I've done like hundreds of Zoom calls and you do like networking Zoom calls every day, and each one gets like a little bit easier and a little bit more normal, and it just becomes your new normal, and it's nice, but you've got to keep going. That's like my biggest thing. I think I always say is just keep going and be consistent, even if you're not putting in the same amount of energy into the consistency, but to just push yourself like a little bit each day, it really pays off in the long run.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that who have come on the podcast. They've kind of said, well, look, if you can just do one thing each day towards growing your business and whatever that might be. And there's people who are still working full-time jobs and they want to do something different. But yeah, if you can just do one thing each day, no matter how small it is, just to push the needle in the right direction, I think it's such good advice. Was there maybe one or two major lessons that I'm sure there were loads, but were there one or two main ones that stand out for you that you'd like to share?
I'm trying to think. I mean, not every client is gonna be your ideal client. Like, there's definitely clients that put you through some tests. Um, and it's learning like when you need to let them go. So I had one client that the communication was not very good. They also didn't pay me on time. So I said like after, because with my invoices I do like a 7-day thing. That's another good thing is do like 7-day invoices, so you're not waiting for like like a 60-day lead time, because I couldn't wait that long. But also it means that after the 7 days are passed and you put it in the contract, like that you can just say like I'm not gonna do any more work until you pay me. Because I had a client like that and they didn't pay me for like 3 months, and then wanted to start working with me again. And I just thought, I don't want to put like my business in that situation where you're expecting money to come in and then it doesn't come in, because it's not very fun, obviously. And it's learning when to say no, because even though at that point the money that they would give you would be like a nice amount and that would feel good for your bank account, it's not good for you mentally to be going through those stresses. And I think it's so important to like, I'm trying to make my business as stress-free as possible, which is hard because it's a business, but I want to reduce as many things that would like make me get burnt out, stuff like that. Like I'm not going to overwork that. I don't want to overwork myself, because then my quality of work will be lower. And so it's like being responsible in all your actions, like not taking on too many clients. But then it's all difficult. There's like a lot to balance, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because when you start out, your main goal is just to get a client, right? Or get a couple of
Yeah.
clients in as quickly as you can. And it doesn't matter who it is, it's all about sustaining that business. But as with you, you learn very quickly that actually you don't want to work with everyone, because it can end up being more costly than it benefits you, right?
Yeah, way more. And it's just like the stress of it, like when you're up at night and you're like, when will I get it? When will I get it? And you're just no, like, but it is because in the beginning, especially, I think I quit my job like a little bit premature. Um, so I was kind of a bit more stressed, and I was like, oh my God, like someone wants to work with me. Because I had like little clients at that point, but no like big clients, and that was gonna be my first big client. So I was like, yeah, this is the best thing ever. But sometimes things are too good to be true.
Yeah. Going back to that point, when you quit your job, you mentioned there you maybe quit a little bit early. Did you have something in your mind that you were going out to achieve? Was there something you wanted and made you think, okay, this job is getting in the way now, I need to just go and get it? Or what was your mindset going through those stages?
Yeah, I think I thought that no one would take me seriously if I was still working at the same time. But now I realize that that's not the case at all, because so many people that I've spoken to now that are coaches or consultants, like they do that as well as their full-time job, and they have their hours set like around that. And I thought when people were trying to book in calls with me and I just had like the evening slots, that they would think, oh, that she's not taking this seriously enough. Um, so I just, as well as I was quite tired from, I mean, everyone's tired from working, but I thought I was getting to a point where it was just mentally draining me too much to be going in and working on this at the same time. So it just got to a point where I was like, I need to quit. And I'm glad I did, because it did push me a lot. But I don't know if I was really ready for that. But I mean, it's worked out. So sometimes you have to take like a little leap of faith.
Yeah, and I think there comes a time when you're growing a business or starting a business that you do need to back yourself. And it's really hard to find that right time. I mean, for me, I just quit and I just left. And that was probably too soon. And then you get some people that stay in their job forever and they're trying to do this side hustle. I had a guest on the other night and he was sleeping 2 to 3 hours a night to have a job and run his business. And he was just killing himself. And that's probably the other extreme. But yeah, there's somewhere in the middle where you've got to find that balance. And as you said, when you left, that freed up your energy. You weren't as tired anymore. You could then focus on the business. And if you'd carried on working, would it have taken you longer to build up to where you are now?
Yeah, I think I would just rather stay like an extra month or so, um, because I don't think I've planned very financially. But like another month would probably have sorted me out a little bit better. Just to say like, be a bit more restrictive with myself and say, to be able to quit my job, maybe I should cut down on like the Starbucks and all of those little things, just for like the couple of months, just to have a little bit extra. Um, because I think it would, but then it would take the pressure off, and then I don't know if I would have pushed as hard. So I wouldn't have changed anything really.
Yeah, no, it's always hard to look back and think, would I change anything? Because you can't, right? You wouldn't be where you were today if you do. Is there any advice that you would give to younger Lulu? Let's say when you're working in the administration role and before you started the LinkedIn, like contacting people, what kind of advice would you give to yourself?
Hmm, I don't know, because until I realized, I don't know, because I'd been working there. I only really worked there for like 6 or 7 months. Um, and up until the point where I decided I wanted to leave, I was pretty fine, just happy. Like, I think it always happens with me in jobs. For the first like 3, 4, 5 months, I'm really enjoying it because it's something new. I'm learning like all the different things that you need to do. And then I just always hit like a wall where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. It just becomes really draining. And it happened with my other jobs as well. Like the longest job I've had was for a year, and that was Domino's, and that was only part-time. But I get to a point where I need to do something else. So it's weird because LinkedIn is the first thing ever. I mean, I've only been doing it 6 months, but I haven't had any of those feelings of like, I want to move on at all. So I don't think I have any advice except just to like do like what you feel is right, because that's what's going to get you places as well. Before everything, I had got really into the make money online space. So I tried a bit of like day trading, stocks and crypto, and I realized that I was just doing that to try and make quick money. But with this and LinkedIn, it's something that I actually enjoy. So although there is the element that you need to want to go after some sort of income, otherwise it's not gonna it's not gonna help you to live how you want to. But to go for something that you actually enjoy doing somewhat, rather than just doing it purely for the income.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, because I think a lot of people who are working, they think, oh, if I can make some quick money online, then I don't need to continue doing this job. And then they try and do something quick and it doesn't work out. But even with LinkedIn or starting a business, it takes time and it takes consistency and it takes effort. And when you think about leaving your job to put in all those weeks and months of hours, it doesn't seem that attractive.
Yeah, no, I think just from the only reason that I actually did it is because knew I didn't want to work a job. If I was happy, like, because some people enjoy the 9 to 5, and that's cool. Like, everyone has different things, but I knew that I don't want to be tied to like one place or just end up in the same place every day. I want to see like new things and have my own schedule. Like if I want to wake up and go to the gym, or if I want to meet a friend for coffee, I can plan that into my week already. So like yesterday, I just took the morning off. Like it's just stuff like that that, I don't know, it makes me feel more fulfilled in my like everyday life.
Yeah, I think there's an element of just having that freedom and flexibility, right? To live life how you want to live it and not feel like you're stuck somewhere. I know I definitely
Yeah,
felt like that in my job, feeling like I had to be there 5 or 6 days a week. And when I wanted to do my own thing, you have to ask for permission and figure something out, get someone to cover you or whatever. It becomes like a stressful endeavor. But yeah, if you're running your own business,
yeah,
you just manage your schedule and just, yeah, go
yeah.
for it.
You just move a few calls around, say like in a week in advance, say I'm not actually going to be around at this time. Can we move it to another time? And then they either say yes or no, and then you just go off of that, and it's much nicer. And as well because, well, now I'm choosing who I work with like carefully, so I know that it's going to be people that I get on with naturally anyway. So I know that there's going to be some degree of flexibility because I only work with people that I really like.
Yeah. And it's enabling you to move country, right?
Yeah. I'm so excited. Like the thought of it is so exciting. Yeah, I'm gonna move to Australia in November. My mum is not very excited about it.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but I need to sort out the visa and everything, but that would be fun. And the plan, I've got so many plans for travel after that as well, but I definitely want to be based in Australia, and I'm gonna try and take up surfing. I hope for the best. But that's another thing I guess you have to put in time and dedication to. Like anything you want to be good at, you have to put in the work.
Yeah. And I think if you've got an idea of how you want to live your life and you've now created a business that will enable you to move to Australia and you can work your schedule around your surf lessons, why not, right? It's living the life you want to lead, which is amazing. I wanted to jump back a little bit and maybe finish up on this point. you talked about working at a job for the first 5 months and enjoying it and then feeling like you were getting a bit fed up. I speak to people all the time who they'll start a job and for the first few months they're in like this honeymoon period where they're loving it and they're learning and it's going great. And then after like 6 to 12 months, they're fed up and then they're like, okay, I need to change something. And then they end up going to another company and it's great for 3, 6, 12 months and they get fed up again, they end up moving and they just keep moving jobs. And I was interested why you decided to start a business. Like, why didn't you do like everyone else does and just go and get another job? Was there something, did you have a role model? Did someone give you an idea? Where did that come from?
Well, my mum is a business owner, so she's a tattoo artist. And I remember always her telling me stories of when she was in her 20s. So she'd been to art college and then she had started like a tattoo apprenticeship. And once she had trained up and like honed her skills, she got a motorbike and went around Europe doing tattoos. And that I think she's definitely instilled that like if you have a business and you have a skill, I think it's the skill, like if you have a skill you'll be useful like anywhere. Um so I guess I'm kind of following her footsteps in a way with my own business and having the freedom to go wherever I want.
Yeah, it's great to have someone who's done that and given you that example. Was there any fear for you around starting the business, or were you just like, no, I have to do this?
As I've always known it's something that I wanted to do. Like ever since I was maybe like, I don't know, even primary school, we always used to do like these like apprentice style challenges. So like every year we'd all set up like a little stall, and like everyone would sell and it would be like who can make the most profit, and we'd have people with like candy floss stalls and people with cupcake stalls, stuff like that. I always found really fun, and I know it's on like such a basic level because it's all very controlled, but it always really excited me, the challenge and trying to make something that was yours. So yeah, I've always known I've wanted to have my own business, and it's actually really crazy that like it's happening right now.
Yeah, so good. Is there any advice that you can give to anyone that's listening who is perhaps more introverted, lacking a bit of confidence, and maybe scared of stepping outside their comfort zone, that you could encourage them to live a better life?
I don't want to just say just do it, but sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is to really push yourself and see what you're capable of. Because I definitely didn't think that I would be capable of much. Like, I don't know, especially the Zoom calls. They really like kept me up at night trying to like having to talk to random people on the internet. But if something seems too big and too scary, like what's the way that you can make it the most comfortable for yourself, so you're pushing yourself a little bit outside your comfort zone but not too far. So say for example the setting for Zooms, so what I did is I got my friends on a Zoom so then I could work out how to use all of like the buttons and how to do everything without the pressure of there being a person that I didn't know there. And then you can take those skills. So it's just what's the easy, like how can you help yourself the most? Like if you are your friend trying to help you, what would they say? And just be kind to yourself as well. Like not every day is going to go exactly how you want it to go. And as soon as you learn that you've got to be your own best friend, really, because you're going to be there for yourself all the time. So if you can change the narrative and be like kind to yourself and forgiving and loving, then it cuts out a lot of time and a lot of like energy like draining, because you can sit with yourself after something didn't go well and just like slowly learn to accept it.
Yeah, great. I love it. Be your best friend.
Yeah, be your best friend, and just as well take. I'm I'm a big advocate for like take time off and take breaks. If you had a Zoom, like I don't know, if I had a Zoom call that went badly, I would just get in bed and just like have a little like rest. I'd be like, I deserve this. I worked really hard, or like go walk to the shop and get some sweets. But I don't know. That's just me.
No, I think there is something there about rewarding yourself, especially when you're
Mm,
stepping outside your comfort zone, because you do something that doesn't feel comfortable for you, reward yourself with it, and then next time you can push yourself a bit further. And you would do that
yeah,
if it was your best friend as well, right? You would treat them.
yeah, yeah. Take them out for lunch. I've had so many like lunch dates on my own because I like say if I signed a client that I don't know was a bit stressed about. I'll take myself out for lunch. I'll be like, "Yay, thank you. Here's contract," and then I'm going out and treating myself. Yeah, celebrate like every single win. I know it's the thing that Izzy does with like that's where I learned. Is what I learned from her is to do the Google Doc with any positive message that anyone sends you to put that in a Google Doc, and I've started doing that as well. And it's nice to hear when you're feeling a bit down, just to see like concrete evidence.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great advice. And it's just nice to be reminded that people value you and they like working with you and yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
So great. Lulu, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Yeah, it's been really good speaking with you.
Thank you.
And there we have it. Thank you so much for listening. The biggest takeaway for me was around being your best friend, and it's so important. A bit more kindness, a bit more self-compassion can go a long way, especially when you're doing things outside your comfort zone. Reward yourself, as Lulu said, take a break, treat yourself to something, take yourself out for lunch. It's so important to celebrate those wins, and whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, when you're doing things beyond your comfort zone, when you're doing things to push yourself, when you're trying to grow and learn and develop, you're always going to be challenging yourself. And if you can reward yourself every time you do that, everything will feel a lot easier, it'll feel more comfortable, and you'll look forward to that reward. So keep going, keep rewarding yourself, look after yourself, and I'll see you same time next week.